Many of us, our only experience with meeting the Amish is driving down a country road and seeing a horse and buggy in front of us and passing them. That's pretty much our only experience with the Amish. And we have a lot of questions. We know they don't use automobiles, but do they use electricity? In this video, I will share whether or not they use electricity and how they manage to preserve their way of life, how they manage to find other tools and things to make their life easier. The Amish are a people who have managed to preserve a religion and rich cultural heritage very different from the rest of us for hundreds of years. One reason they have been so effective in preserving their way of life, despite having no central church authority, is because each district or congregation or community has its own set of unwritten rules for Amish living. And the set of rules is called an ordnung, and it's maintained and administered by the members of the district. Due to the decentralized church governance, these rules can vary from district to district. For example, one district might allow the use of bicycles while another may forbid them. So when you see Amish people out and you may see one Amish person with a cell phone and another one not. So each district will decide what they're allowed to have and what they're not allowed to have. And even though the rules may vary across all the districts, the Amish believe that the existence of and the obedience to the ordnung is vital to the preservation of their community, their cultural identity, and faith. It is also important for the protection of the family. In the next part of the video, I'm going to show you various machines that I've come across here in my community where the Amish are using them, and you'll see those in the video. And then after that, I will answer the question, well, do they use electricity? I'm just, it's dark. So now I answer your question, do the Amish use electricity? The Amish aren't against electricity. You'll find many Amish homes where they are not wired and they do not have electricity in them. But it's not because they're against electricity or they think that electricity is bad. What their belief is that they don't want to rely on the power grid. They don't want to rely on the government. They want to live in this world, but not of the world, if that makes sense. They want to be self-reliant and be able to take care of their own families and their way of life, and to preserve that. By connecting to the power grid, they are reliant on the power grid, just like we are. If the electric goes out, we have no electricity. While the Amish, if that power grid goes down, they can still survive and they can still keep going on with their way of life. So basically, how then do they get electricity? Well, nowadays, obviously, they use solar panels, and many homes that I have seen in my area don't have like a full-fledged solar panels across the roof of their house. They may have 2 or 3 panels in the back of the house, so it can charge batteries. And then they use these batteries for lighting, for power tools, as you can see here, and any other things that they can hook up. You know, men need to shave and things like that. So they like the comforts that we have, but they don't rely on them. One big thing, I have one neighbor that to get hot water, they have a great big barrel or container of water outside of their home, and then they use the solar energy to heat it so that they can have a shower. So it's kind of like indoor plumbing. It's just all set up differently than what you would think of. Many Amish, if they buy a home that's already wired for electricity, I know some of the different communities will
But the
allow
guys
the
in the
new
back,
family
they're
to live in the
Mennonite.
home
I
and keep
thought
the
he was
electric
selling
for
us
a
for he's
year,
Mennonite.
but they have 1 year to transfer it over and not be relying on it. So every different community has different rules. So it really depends on how strict they are. Some of them are
You can
more
talk, I can
lenient,
take the
others
whole
are
shot.
stricter. So yes, they do use
Did you say that
electricity,
that was
they just
empty?
don't acquire their electricity the same way that we do. I hope this answered your question. I hope you learned something new. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and twice a month I put out videos about the Amish in my community.